Salesforce just had its biggest moment since Lightning, and I don't say that lightly. On April 15th, 2026, Salesforce announced Headless 360 at TDX in San Francisco. And this is not a feature update. This is a complete reset of what the Salesforce platform even is. Parker Harris, Salesforce co-founder, asked the question on stage, "Why should you ever log into Salesforce again?" That wasn't marketing. That was the product announcement. In the next 16 minutes, I'll break down everything that shipped, show you the actual new workflow with a concrete example, and tell you exactly what you need to do about it, whether you're an admin, developer, architect, or CIO. To understand why this is bigger than Lightning, you need to understand the problem. For 25 years, Salesforce has been a UI-first platform. You open Chrome, you log in, you navigate menus, you click, you fill forms, you submit. Whether you were a sales rep updating an opportunity, a service agent closing a case, or an admin building a flow, every workflow assumed a human clicking through screens. And that worked for humans. Then AI agents arrived, and they changed the game. AI agents don't have eyes, they don't click buttons, they don't navigate menus, they read API, they call tools, they execute commands. Salesforce had a comprehensive API, yes, but its most powerful capabilities, the approval chains, the business rules, the sharing logic, the 25 years of accumulated enterprise context, were locked behind a graphical interface. A coding agent connected to a raw database might know your customer's name, but it doesn't know that same customer has an open escalation, a renewal due in 30 days, a breached support SLA, and a relationship owner with a personal connection to their CFO. That context lives in Salesforce, and agents could not reach it. That's the problem Headless 360 solves, and it doesn't solve it with a feature, it solves it with an architectural rebuild. Headless 360 is a complete re-architecting of how Salesforce exposes its platform. Here's the core principle, and I want you to really hear this. Everything on Salesforce is now an API, an MCP tool, or a CLI command. Every capability, every workflow, every piece of business logic, every data object, every automation, exposed as three universal access patterns: API, MCP tool, or CLI. All three for everything. Why three and not just one? Because Salesforce doesn't know which protocol will win in the AI era. Joe Inzerillo, Salesforce President of Enterprise and AI Technologies, said it directly. We're not wedded to one or the other. We offer an API, we offer a CLI, we offer an MCP. That hedging is actually smart. Protocols shift. APIs are stable. MCP is the hot new standard. CLI is what developers prefer. Salesforce gives you all three. The result? Your coding agent in Claude Code, Cursor, Windsurf, or Codex can now build full Salesforce applications without ever opening a browser. An AI agent can resolve a customer support case, update an opportunity, trigger approvals, generate reports, all through MCP tools or APIs. No UI required, ever. Salesforce spent 2.5 years rebuilding their codebase for this moment, starting late 2023, while everyone else was still asking whether AI agents were real. Let me show you exactly what this shift looks like with a concrete example: Service Cloud case creation. Here's the traditional way, what you've been doing for years. Step 1. Customer calls or emails your support team. A human support agent picks it up. Step 2. That agent opens Chrome, logs into Salesforce, clicks into Service Cloud. Step 3. Navigates the UI, fills in the case form, selects the right record type, picks the priority, assigns to a queue, clicks Submit. The UI, the logic, and the data are tightly coupled. The workflow requires the human to drive it through screens. Now here's the Headless 360 way, the new flow. Step 1. Customer raises an issue through web chat, a mobile app, WhatsApp, or any channel you've deployed. Step 2. The API layer receives the request. No browser involved. Step 3. Agentforce. The AI agent takes over. It understands the customer's intent from natural language. It classifies the case. It auto-populates the fields. It checks Data 360 for the customer's history, entitlements, and past interactions. Step 4. Service Cloud creates and assigns the case through an MCP tool call. Routing rules, sharing rules, approval chains, all the same enterprise logic, just triggered by an agent instead of a human. Step 5. Data 360 updates the customer profile. The agent sends a confirmation through whichever channel the customer used. No dependency on the Salesforce UI. Same backend, multiple experiences. And AI isn't an add-on anymore. It's part of the execution flow. This is the shift from Salesforce the application to Salesforce the infrastructure. Salesforce Headless 360 is built on 3 pillars. Let me walk you through each one. Pillar 1. Build any way you want. Salesforce shipped over 60 new MCP tools and more than 30 pre-configured coding skills, all generally available today. If you're not a developer, let me explain MCP in plain English. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It's an open standard developed by Anthropic that lets AI agents connect to external systems and use their capabilities as tools. Think of it this way. Before MCP, an AI agent was a brilliant contractor who showed up at your building without a keycard. MCP is the keycard, and Salesforce just gave that keycard access to every room in the building. What does this mean specifically? Your coding agent in Claude Code, Cursor, Windsurf, or Codex can now read and write Salesforce records directly, query your data with SOQL from a terminal, trigger flows and business automation from code, access your metadata, custom objects, fields, relationships, build Lightning Web Components without opening an org, deploy changes directly from your CLI, execute tests, run deployments, all without logging into Salesforce. And here's the critical thing that makes this different from just having an API, which Salesforce has always had. Context. Data 360 now exposes all your customer context, every object, every relationship, every historical interaction, as MCP tools. The agent doesn't just see data, it understands your business. Agentforce Vibes 2.0, the browser ID, also gets major upgrades. I'll cover that in detail in a moment. The message from Salesforce to the developer community is clear. Bring your own ID, bring your own model, bring your own workflow. We're here to be the platform underneath. Pillar 2. Deploy on any surface. This is where headless becomes literal. Salesforce introduced the Agentforce experience layer. The old way, if you wanted to deploy an agent or application to a new surface, you had to build a specific interface for each one. Slack? Write Slack-specific code. Teams? Write Teams code. Mobile? Write mobile code. Every new surface meant duplicate work. The experience layer changes this completely. You build your agent interaction once. It renders natively across every surface automatically. Slack, Microsoft Teams, voice channels, WhatsApp, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, custom React applications, any MCP-compatible client. At the keynote, Salesforce demonstrated deploying one agent across 6 different surfaces without writing dedicated interface code for any of them. 6 surfaces, 1 build. And here's the kicker. Slack becomes the orchestration hub. Slackbot is turning into an MCP client that can route requests across 6,000-plus Salesforce apps. Custom AI agents on Slack grew 300% just since January 2026. The new Slack Agent Kit lets developers go from CLI command to live agent in 10 minutes. And Slack Block Kit gets card, alert, carousel, data table, and chart components, so agent responses become interactive UIs, not walls of text. What does this mean for your organization? Your sales rep interacts with Salesforce data through Slack without ever opening Lightning. Your service agent gets customer context through voice without looking at a screen. Your executive queries pipeline data through ChatGPT without logging into Salesforce. And your AI agent takes action across all of these surfaces, updating records, triggering workflows, sending notifications, all without a human clicking anything. The experience is wherever your people already work. Pillar 3. This is the one that separates serious enterprise AI from demos. Build agents you can trust at scale. Here's the uncomfortable truth. AI agents are probabilistic. They don't behave the same way every time. They can encounter unanticipated scenarios and reason their way to unexpected outcomes. In enterprise contexts, unexpected is not a feature, it's a risk. Salesforce shipped 4 trust tools for the agent lifecycle. First, Testing Center, a dedicated environment where you run agents against simulated scenarios before production. You define test cases. The agent runs them. You see what it does and why, catches logic gaps, policy violations, and inconsistent outputs before a real customer ever interacts with the agent. Second, Session Tracing and Observability. Every action an agent takes is logged and traceable. And here's a huge one, Session Trace OTel API. A single REST call returns a complete Agentforce session trace as standard OpenTelemetry spans. Export directly to Splunk, Datadog, New Relic, or any OTel collector with 0 transformation. Third, and this is the big news, AgentScript, now open source. AgentScript is a definition language for your agents. Think of it as a rule book. You write explicit business logic. When should the agent follow deterministic rules, and when should it reason freely with the LLM? For example, a customer service agent can autonomously handle routine inquiries. But if a refund exceeds $500, AgentScript says, require human approval. Every time, no exceptions. Salesforce open-sourced AgentScript at github.com/salesforce/agentscript. The full language specification, grammar, parser, and compiler are public. You can contribute. Extensions can be built. Other platforms can adopt it. And AgentScript now works across both text and voice channels. Same deterministic control, whether the interaction is typed or spoken. Fourth, custom scoring evals. Not just did the agent complete the task, but did the agent do it in a way that reflects our business standards? You define what good looks like for your use case. Every response is evaluated against that standard. Plus, A/B testing. API is now in pilot. You can run controlled experiments on agents via API. Which model performs better? Which prompt template converts more? Which guardrails affect customer satisfaction? This is what makes Headless 360 enterprise ready instead of just another developer toy. Now let's talk about the tool you'll actually use to build on Headless 360, Agentforce Vibes 2.0. Agentforce Vibes is Salesforce's browser-based IDE. Think of it as VS Code inside your browser, specifically built for building Salesforce agents, applications, Lightning apps, React apps, and even native mobile apps. Version 2.0 brings 3 major upgrades that the developer community has been waiting for. First, Claude Sonnet 4.5 from Anthropic is the default AI model. This is a major change. Previously, GPT-5 was powering Pro mode. Now, Claude Sonnet 4.5 handles the default coding experience with proven enterprise-grade reasoning. Second, multi-model support. You can now choose between Claude Sonnet 4.5, GPT-5, or bring your own model. If your organization has a specific LLM preference, maybe a fine-tuned model, maybe Gemini, maybe an open-source variant, you can connect it to Agentforce Vibes. This is huge. Salesforce is signaling, we're not locked to one AI provider. You're not either. Third, new data model visualizer. This replaces hundreds of clicks in setup. You see your Salesforce data model visually, and the AI can suggest schema changes, relationships, and optimizations. How does Agentforce Vibes work day to day? It has 3 modes: Plan mode, Act mode, and Deep Planning mode. In Plan mode, you describe what you want to build. The AI analyzes, breaks into steps, shows you the plan. You review, approve, then it executes. In Act mode, the AI takes action immediately. Faster, less oversight. In Deep Planning mode, for complex multi-step projects, the AI thinks longer and produces a more thorough plan before acting. And here's the best part. The free Salesforce Developer Edition now includes Agentforce Vibes, with 110 requests per month and 1.5 million tokens, plus Salesforce-hosted MCP servers at no cost. The bar to entry just dropped to 0. This update is huge for front-end developers. Native React support is now live in Salesforce. For years, Salesforce pushed Lightning Web Components. Great tech, but if your team lived in React, the most popular front-end framework on Earth, you were kind of stuck. Now, with Headless 360, you can build custom React applications that talk directly to Salesforce through MCP tools and APIs. Your design system, your interaction patterns, your component library, all rendering against Salesforce as the backend. Plus, Salesforce introduced the Agentforce Mobile SDK. Deploy Agentforce natively inside iOS and Android apps. With push-to-talk voice support, customers can speak to an AI agent without leaving your app. And the agent can read from Data 360, trigger workflows, and update Salesforce records, all from inside a mobile experience. For any company shipping a mobile app, this removes the friction between your app and your Salesforce backend entirely. While Headless 360 is the factory, AgentExchange is the marketplace. AgentExchange is the consolidation of AppExchange, Slack Marketplace, and the Agentforce ecosystem into a single governed storefront. The numbers are big: 10,000 Salesforce apps, 2,600 plus Slack apps, 1,000 plus Agentforce agents, tools, and MCP servers, all in one place, all with one-click activation. Partners include Google, DocuSign, Notion, Anthropic, and many more. And Salesforce backed it with a $50 million million AgentExchange Builders Fund, investment, engineering support, and go-to-market help for developers and ISVs building on the ecosystem. Early results are striking. Notion cut its average sales cycle from 4 months to 3 weeks after listing. DocuSign processed over 200 private offers in Q4 2025 with 60% faster time to signature. Mesh closed their first Fortune 500 customer just 6 weeks after listing. The message is clear. Salesforce wants the next generation of enterprise AI to be built on top of Salesforce, and they're putting money behind it. Let me ground all of this in a real company, not a demo, but production. Engine is a B2B travel management company. They were featured in the TDX keynote because their story is exactly what Headless 360 makes possible. Engine built an AI agent called Ava using Agentforce and Data 360. The numbers are hard to ignore. They built Ava in 12 days. 12 days from idea to production deployment. Ava now autonomously resolves 50% of customer service cases, not assists with, resolves. Engine runs 5 agents total across customer-facing and employee-facing functions. Data 360 is at the heart of their infrastructure. Slack is the primary workspace where humans and agents collaborate in the same interface. Results? CSAT. Customer satisfaction went up. Costs to deliver service went down. Why does this work? Because Data 360 gave Ava all the customer context it needed: history, account status, entitlements, prior interactions, exposed as MCP tools. The agent didn't replace the service team. It handled routine cases so the team could focus on the complex ones where human judgment matters. Engine isn't unique. It's just early. In 5 years, this will be every enterprise. Let me zoom out and tell you why I opened this video by saying Headless 360 is bigger than Lightning. Lightning changed how humans used Salesforce. Headless 360 changes who uses Salesforce. No longer limited to humans. Now it's AI agents, coding tools, external AI systems, all accessing 25 years of workflows, business logic, governance, and customer context without a UI in sight. Here's the fundamental reset in 4 points. 1. UI becomes optional. Experience moves to React, mobile, chat, voice, and any MCP-compatible client. The browser is just one of many surfaces now, not the primary one. 2. API become the product. Salesforce capabilities are now callable services. Every workflow, every piece of business logic, every data model, consumable by any agent from anywhere. 3. AI becomes the orchestrator. Agents don't just assist humans, they execute workflows, they route work, they make decisions within guardrails you define through AgentScript. 4. Salesforce becomes infrastructure. Data plus workflows plus the trust layer, all reused everywhere. The CRM becomes the operating system for enterprise AI. The best summary I've heard: Salesforce is evolving from a system of screens to a system of capabilities, where API power and AI executes. Now, what does all this mean for you depending on your role? If you're a Salesforce administrator, your flows, validation rules, and approval processes are now the guardrails AI agents operate within. You're not being replaced. You're becoming the person who defines how agents behave. Start learning AgentScript syntax. Think about which processes should be fully automated versus which ones need human approval. Metadata and automation design matter more than ever in an agent-driven world. If you're a Salesforce developer, you can build Salesforce apps from any IDE. Cursor, Claude Code, VS Code, Windsurf. Set up the new MCP tools in your environment. Learn AgentScript since it's now open source. Experiment with native React support. The developer velocity is about to be dramatically faster. Cycle times reportedly 40% shorter. If you're a Salesforce architect, Headless 360 is a strategic pivot, not a tool upgrade. Start mapping your integration patterns because agents need real-time data from everywhere, not just Salesforce. MuleSoft becomes the connective layer that makes Headless Salesforce actually work at scale. Rethink governance, observability, and testing when actions happen outside the UI path. If you're a CIO or decision maker, browser-first Salesforce strategies are now legacy thinking. Map which business processes are candidates for agent automation. Identify your agent use cases. Heed the analyst warning. Ask Salesforce directly about pricing before building architectural dependencies on features that might land in premium tiers. For everyone, The most important thing right now is this. Get a Salesforce Developer Edition account. It's free. Agentforce Vibes is included. Salesforce-hosted MCP servers are included. The learning curve is dramatically lower now because AI is writing most of the code. Organizations that understand Headless 360 today and start building with it today will have a meaningful advantage over those who wait for 6 months of blog posts to tell them it matters. That's the complete breakdown of Salesforce Headless 360, announced April 15, 2026 at TDX in San Francisco. 3 pillars: build any way you want, deploy on any surface, trust at scale. 7 major announcements, 60+ MCP tools, 30+ coding skills. Agentforce, Vibes 2.0 with Claude Sonnet 4.5 plus GPT-5 plus bring your own model. Experience layer across Slack, Teams, Voice, and every MCP client. AgentScript, open sourced. Native React support. Agentforce Mobile SDK. $50 million Builders Fund for AgentExchange. And one very simple message. The era of logging into Salesforce is ending. The era of Salesforce as the execution engine for AI agents is beginning. If you found this useful, subscribe. I cover AI tools and platform shifts like this every single week on AI Mind Lab. Drop your questions in the comments, especially if you're already experimenting with MCP on Salesforce. I read every one. All the links, including the AgentScript GitHub repo, the free developer edition, and AgentExchange, are in the description. See you in the next one.